And welcome to SBN Thursday Night. I am your host, S. Soden. I have a very special guest here tonight with me, Kylo Hugs and Kisses. Also, he is the author of our new show, the Force Fumble. How you doing, Kylo?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Oh, not too bad, man. So got a chance to watch your game last night. Uh, I don't think you've lost yet in the regular season in Sim League. That's pretty crazy, man. Because I think you're like 9-0 right now, and then last year you were like 5 or 6-0. Watch that game last night. You were playing another owner that was undefeated in the regular season. That game was a slugfest, and I gotta say, man, it's one of the best games I've ever watched. How are you liking the Sim League so far?
I really like the sim league. I've been in a few of them, but this one I just really like the coverage rules in this. It just really makes it a better experience for everybody, not just linebackers running all over the field. But aside from that, it's just everybody I've played. I really haven't had too many problems with anybody with the sim gameplay and everything, and nobody's been like whiny or starting any drama. So it's been a blast playing here.
That's cool, man. Yeah, your only loss coming in the Super Bowl. So Alpha Heel 7 and myself, we broadcasted that game, and it really looked like you controlled that game. And then at the end, you just kind of had had Madden kind of take over on you. You missed a field goal, then a long run. But it seems like you
Yeah,
bounced back after a disappointing overtime loss in the Super Bowl. What were your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I was disappointed. Like at the same thing, I thought I had it there. I was doing the right things at the end, controlling the clock, let it, let the game come down to a chip shot field goal. Then what happened from there. But I was disappointed at the end. I just took a step back for a second, kind of just let myself, let it go away. Didn't try not to think about it, and then look forward to next season. So here we are.
Yeah, and I mean it's the Super Bowl, and any play can go your way. A fumble can kind of bounce the other way on you. Um, i- it's tough, man. I mean, you got the two best owners in there, the two best teams playing each other. So yeah, I don't take much stock in who wins the Super Bowl. I actually take more stock in both teams who are actually at the Super Bowl because I guarantee you, in the Super Bowl, if you play like the best out of three, nobody's going to win two or three in a row. I really think that it's going to come down to like a 2-1 type scenario if you were to do
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
So you have a new show. You're one episode on SBN, and then you did the other episode yourself. I really enjoy the show. Force Fumble, great name for the show. And great analysis. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about your show?
Yeah, force fumble. The name really doesn't mean anything about what I do. I pretty much just sometimes I'll ask for people, but I usually just pick a team that I've been kind of watching. Sometimes they've been struggling, or sometimes not. Just a team that's doing well, and I want to show why they're doing well. But basically, I'll just pick out highlights from the game. Either it is key highlights like really good plays, or maybe not so good plays, or just some things about the gameplay that I'll pick out that I think should be implemented more often. I'll pick that out and I'll break it down a little bit, show why maybe the good play was a good play, show why the bad play was a bad play, and and then afterwards I'll show some stats about the team. Pretty much just show all aspects of the team and kind of take a second to really dive deep into one particular team at a time.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed in the show, your first SBN episode, your second episode overall, you broke down your checkdowns and why your checkdowns are so important. I thought that was really cool because a lot of owners are struggling with sacks and interceptions in this year's Madden and lurks. You kind of get it all, but I thought you did a really good job of breaking down how to identify your check down and when to throw to your check down, and then how to progress onto other routes after your check down. I thought that was really good, and I think some of the owners out there and in other leagues too, I think they should really tune into this thing because he gives a lot of good gameplay tips. And let me tell you, from somebody that has played him, he is an elite player with any set of rules. So those of you out there, if you're looking for tips, non-cheating tips, sim tips. If you're a sim league, he's not showing you how to abuse the mechanics of the game. He's showing you how to play football. And then translating it onto the gamepad for you. So PlayStation, Xbox, it doesn't matter. From what I noticed, it's really good analysis. So if you have a chance, make sure you guys check out his show because it will definitely help your gameplay. What is some of the advice that you can give to some of the new owners, either in Sim League or in other leagues too? Because we have a lot of other leagues that watch us as well. Is there any tips you can give some of the new owners to help improve their gameplay?
So I'll take this back a little bit more. I started playing this year, this Madden, in a sim league. Never played a sim league. I really just played like Madden, like by myself and offline whenever I did have a Madden, which wasn't a lot. So this year, somebody I knew from an NHL league I played in brought me into his sim league. That was pretty casual, and then I kind of just got hooked. So really, what I did though to get better, um, was I watched people stream. I watched people who were good, and I watched what they did and why they did it. But I really just learned from playing. So in games, everybody has their different ways to gain yards or gain touchdowns, all right? So what I did was just like, all right, well, this is working for this guy. Why is it working? And then I just kind of tried to figure it out that way. And really, when you go into a game, Madden's kind of crazy like this because you really do have to stay focused if you want to be successful throughout the whole game. As soon as you lose focus is when you go out in the five wide too much, or you look for that deep ball when you probably shouldn't, and that's what bites people in the butt. Those mistakes. So really, just if you focus on not making mistakes when you're first starting to play, just make the safe throw, even if it's not gonna be a first down, whatever. Just keep yourself in the game. You'll win a lot more games.
Yeah, great advice. I have a couple questions for you coming out of the SBN chat on YouTube. We have King X, the Arizona Cardinals owner. He's having a fantastic season, but he wants to know how can Arizona improve his game?
So when I looked at his gameplay before, when I broke it down in my first episode, I believe, or maybe it was the last one, I forget. I think it was the last one. I noticed his defense needed some work and not really mixing anything up. His play calling was fine. Just maybe just a little focused a little bit more. And then just some work about that. I covered that in his video, and he has his tips there. But really, it just defense wins games. We see it all the time, right? You're in a game and your offense isn't clicking, and you get frustrated. So, and then you start making mistakes, and then it really doesn't have to take much offense to win a game. But even his offense, I watched it. It's exactly how you really want to play the game. Mistakes just like everybody does, but it's impressive. Uses Matthew Stafford like I've never seen anyone use before because I really just don't like him in Madden, but he finds a way to make him look like an MVP.
Yeah,
So if he just hones that defense, I think he'll probably be able to make a run.
yeah, and I have to agree with you on that. I did watch a couple of his games. I watched that Buffalo Bills game, a game that he was upset. I thought that he could have, I thought he could have won that and should have won that
Definitely.
game. But his quarterback play, his user play with the quarterback is very, very good. He really propels Matthew Stafford into an elite level quarterback. So to me, I think that Arizona Cardinals team, I feel like he's good and about to be great. So I think if,
Definitely.
like you said, if he can get that defense figured out, I know he took over a Cardinals team that already had traded Patrick Peterson, and they don't really have a lot of other weapons on defense. So it could be a roster issue, maybe. But
Could be, yeah.
yeah, I feel like if he could get back and get some pressure on the quarterback, play some good defense, and I think that he can make that step into a great team. Right now, I think he's in the top six for my power rankings, and in a lot of other people's power rankings, he's actually in the top five. So he's doing a fantastic job. We do have another question here for you. The Los Angeles Rams user lurk 201. He wants to know, besides yourself, Kilo, who do you honestly think has the best chance to win the NFC?
To win the NFC, that's probably gonna have to be the Panthers. That's probably not the answer you want to hear, but I know this guy. I played this guy a lot. I brought him into the league, and if anybody watched their game last night, he could have beat me if he just made one less throw. That was a mistake. I returned for a touchdown. He definitely could have beat me, and that's all it really takes him out is that one play. But he's really smart with how he plays. Very intelligent. knows a lot about the gameplay and everything like that, but is also very sim. So I think if anybody, it'll be him. After that, it kind of gets to be about the same. I'd say either the Rams or the Cardinals would be behind him in terms of being able to win NFC. But those two are pretty neck and neck. So
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I actually watched two of the Panthers owners' games in a row. Very sim oriented owner plays. For those of you that don't understand what sim is, play it like you basically see it, like a real NFL game. He does that. He doesn't abuse the mechanics of the game at all, and he's got a lot of good stick skills. I mean, the guy's just
yeah, definitely.
phenomenal with the stick skills. So yeah, I would agree with you. And another one I would probably throw out there would be the Bears crowd pleaser 90. I think he does a pretty good job too. And let's
Definitely.
not forget that the Eagles are like 7-1 or 8-1 right now too. So he's
Oh, I forgot about them. Yeah, yeah. I would honestly, still though, I would probably put him right where the Cardinals. I put those four teams: the Cardinals, Bears, Rams, Eagles, probably at about the same tier. I
and
think either one of them can beat each other.
and then we have another question here from the Cardinals from King X. He wants to know who your underdogs are.
Underdogs for the NFC or
Well,
just in general.
I guess just in general, he didn't define it.
Okay. Well, I do have one guy in mind who we mentioned before, and I believe I even mentioned in top 10. The Tennessee Titans. If he can find a way to get on the field a little bit more, he can make a run, and I think he can probably make a run for the Super Bowl. Just from when I played him.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. Waffle House is a very, very good owner, probably some of the best stick skills in the league. He did have some Sims early in the year, and he does have the Tennessee Titans. So, yeah, I would agree with you on that. He is definitely somebody that can beat anybody at any given time. So, what is your top five teams then right now in both leagues combined?
And I'd probably have to say I don't want to put myself on top, so I'm going to say Panthers, Broncos, Patriots, um, probably Eagles, and then it gets kind of hard with the Colts, Cardinals, or Rams. But if I had to pick one, I think the Cardinals will turn their defense around, and I'll put them at five.
That's a good list. And yeah, you and I did play last year right before playoff time, and I am still kicking myself in the tail for not throwing to Gronkowski at the end there in the red zone. But I got to
Mm,
tell you, man, that was a fun game that we played. One of the best games that I've ever played, and against somebody as dominant as yourself. I mean, I didn't know that you were going to be as dominant as you were until I played you. And you took that Broncos defense to school. I had all I could do to keep up with you. I did have a shot at potentially winning the game. But again, like you said before, good defense rules the day. And you disguised your coverage brilliantly, and you moved up and you intercepted an arrow, or I'm sorry, a deep in to Lindsey, who was out at wide receiver. You read it, you executed, and I failed, and you won. So, yeah, so for somebody that's played you before, definitely an elite player. Happy to have you in the league and happy to have you on the show and with your own show. So, getting back to the Force Fumble. Force Fumble seems like it's what? Is it a once a week show?
yeah, once a week. It does take a little bit of time to put together because I got to watch the whole game and figure out what I want to talk about or cover with the team. So it does take me about a week. But it depends. If I like a game a lot, I'll probably cover it.
Gotcha. What do you have any big plans? Any other plans for Force Fumble? Anything you want to introduce?
For Force. Um, yeah, I do have a few plans. Just with how I broadcast it. I have an idea where I'd like to kind of use some of the play art that announcers make with the yellow lines and stuff to give people better visual about what I'm talking about instead of just using my mouse. Other than that, I'd like to maybe do a live version, maybe on a game that's not as important in case teams are like tuning in or whatever. But
Mhm.
definitely would like to do a live one just to see how that works. Other than that, it's just going to be the same thing, different teams.
Yeah, so looking at your show right now, I'm actually looking at it on YouTube. Force Fumble, episode 1, recorded 4 days ago. 605 views for your first time on SBN. Dude, that's
Wow.
fantastic, man.
Nice.
That's better than what Big Al did with his first show. I think he had like 2 viewers his first show. No, I'm just kidding. Al does really good. And shout out to you, Big Al. Hope your grandma's doing better. She hasn't been feeling too good, so our thoughts and prayers with Soden Bowl and SBN are out there for you and your grandma. So we hope she gets better soon. Looking at the chat here, uh, looks like we have CP90 saying that his team is the Eagles. They are sneaky good. And also T Hoyt. Let's not forget Hoyt, the reigning Super Bowl champ with the New England Patriots. Like you said, he can execute, and he can really simplify the game and frustrate the heck out of you if you're playing for him.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we have Lurk saying he's proud. He's proud to announce that the Rams completely killed the Patriots. So I haven't caught that one on the scoreboard yet.
Little
But
banner in the chat. I like it.
and then he has a question for me. So Lurk God 201 says, Soden, what do you do year in and year out to have your defense as elite as it is? And there are two answers to that question. One is execution. You have to execute. Two is knowing my opponent. So what I like to do is before I play every game, I actually go in and look at your statistics, and I'll look at your last 3 games that you played, and I'll identify what your attack is. And if you are a one-sided or two-sided owner, I try to do, think of Bill Belichick and the Patriots. This is my first time using the Broncos. Normally I'm a Patriots owner. But what I like to do is kind of mimic what Belichick does and try to take your best weapon away from you and make you play out of your game. Now, when you play somebody like a KyloRen, he can run the ball, throw the ball to anybody and play good defense. So there's nothing you can really single out for him except to try to make Aaron Rodgers struggle a little bit. So I guess my advice to beat my defense is be unpredictable. Kind of like Alpha. When I play Alpha, Alpha will, he has one of the best pass attacks. I'll play him and he'll run for 150 yards, and he'll throw to people I've never heard of. So you do that, you beat me. And then the other aspect of it is in game. I try not to throw all my marbles on the table on one play. I try not to just send the house. Don't be predictable on the blitz, because if somebody knows you're blitzing, they can kill you over the top, especially with that Rams offense that you have. So what I like to do is almost play a bend but don't break defense. And then when you least expect it, I send the pressure, and I usually back it up with some kind of a zone coverage or maybe a man coverage with a little bit of zone sprinkled in to make you throw into the teeth of the defense and try to get that turnover. And then just playing, I play as the middle linebacker. I use a 34 defense, and I play as the second middle linebacker. So that way I try to give the best middle linebacker to the CPU to kind of let him go around and roam on his own. And then with me, I try not to be out of my play art. I try to stay within the play so I don't leave a gaping hole in that defense, and just do my thing and go from there. I do try to build defense above my offense because I tend to be a pretty good offensive player. So I try to build my defense from a depth chart standpoint because I feel like that's where the AI is abused the most in the game, is on defense. So I guess that would be the answer. Hopefully that answers your question. Kind of a long-winded response there. What about you? You play pretty good defense too, Kilo. What advice can you give Lurk God 201?
So I liked what you said about looking at what they do before in the training screen, just try and pick out what their key tendencies are going to be. You can also watch streams of them, but what I like to do is their first drive will tell you a lot. They'll tell you what their go-to plays are, who their go-to players are, and what their go-to running plays are. So if you can try to pick that out, and then you kind of trying to get into their head a little bit and think, okay, if I were them, which one of those kinds of plays would I be calling right now? It's really just like a chess match when it comes to that kind of thing. The other thing is the depth chart thing. I mean, that's to do unless you've been in the league for a while, but you can still have a pretty solid defense if you use the right play calls. And I like the bend don't break thing. I really only do like all out blitzes, cover zero blitzes when I know a run is coming and I need to stop and I want to take that risk, or on like I want to throw in like on long passing downs when the quarterback is looking deep and he might not have time to get that ball out quickly.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I don't like those zero blitzes. Uh, you know, Yeah, again, I'll do it at the end of a half, especially after playing Alpha and he beat me on a Hail Mary when I was in prevent. So, yeah, maybe I should have zero blitzed on that one. So, King AB, CP90, he wants to know, how did you get so good at breaking down video?
Um, it's really just it's gonna sound kind of stupid, but I watch a lot of NFL NFL broadcasters, NFL Network stuff. So I kind of just try to pick out some of the stuff they do. I watch way too much football, and I probably play way too much Madden. So I kind of just combine the two types of knowledge that I got from that into how I play and how I watch videos and stuff. Because when I play, I really am just looking for tendencies of players. So it really is just applying it to a video where I can see a little bit easier.
Gotcha. And then something we talked about offline. Did you mention that when we talked about some of the things you wanted to add to Force Fumble? The geez, I don't know how you even explain it. I think of John Madden and drawing on the TV screen there. Did we?
Yeah, that's what I tried to mention earlier. But yeah, I definitely would like to do something like that. Just because I think it is a little hard to see what I'm talking about sometimes in the videos precisely, and like, it could be useful if I can implement it correctly.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about breaking down the plays. Like if you could circle the guy, and I think that would be really neat. Something that maybe we could bring into the play by play broadcasts too. I was thinking about possibly getting you in on some of the broadcasts, the live broadcasts, so you can give some in game analysis. I think that would be really
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. I think that'd be maybe instead of the force fumble thing, I would just kind of do that and do some analysis in game, like I plan to with force fumble.
Yeah, the SBSL John Madden of the league. D
Yeah.
D Soden, welcome back. He is back in the league. He took over the Jacksonville Jaguars as our friend Alpha Heel took some time off. He has a baby on the way, so again, congratulations, my friend. Hopefully everything goes smooth for you there, and then we look forward to you returning for the live draft, the Soden Bowl Sim League live draft that we're going to host, and soon we're going to be announcing a Madden 19 and a Madden 20 tournament that's going to get you guys some pretty cool swag that's going to come your way. Some copies of Madden 20 and some other things that Big Al from the Huddle and myself are working out. So yeah, welcome back to the league. And D Soden has corrected me. It is Kylo Ren and not Kilo Ren. So again, thank you for correcting my grammar, guys. I really
You
appreciate it.
say it right sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
50-50.
Sometimes, hey, ask Kolitz how I do with name pronunciations. So he knows better than anybody else. I, I successfully mispronounce his name every single time. So it is what it is. Let's see here. Looking at the league so far, Kilo, what is your biggest surprise so far? Do you have anything that stands out that you just didn't see coming in season 2 of SBSL?
Do you mean from like a player standpoint of who kind of came out and started playing well, or do you mean like rules or something?
Either or, what stands out the most to you, whether it be a rule or a team?
I if I had to pick a team, I would say the Dolphins. I think every time I've seen the Dolphins, they play solid, and I'm considering doing them as my next feature. But every time I've seen them play, they play pretty solid. I think they could be a great team, just like the Cardinals. They're kind of on the brink of that. And I was just kind of surprised with that because I never really every league I've been in, I've never really seen a Dolphins team be successful. So it's just nice to see them actually be successful.
And then D Soden has a question for you. He wants to know if you have any advice on how he can come in and take out the AFC.
I can communicate take the AFC. He's got to take you out. He's got to take the Patriots out. I mean, other than that, I mean, the NFC South is pretty wide open. If I'm looking at it, AFC South, looking at it right now, he's at 5-4. He's got the 7-2 Colts, but I haven't really seen D Soden play, but the Colts, they're good. They're definitely really good, but I think if he plays right and he plays well, he can beat them. And he's only 2 games back, so I think once he breaks AFC South, he really just got to worry about you and the Patriots.
Yeah,
So
so D Soden is he's a balanced offensive player with a focus on defense. So I think he fits good with that Jaguars team. He does like to run the ball a lot, and he likes to play off play action. He doesn't really play too much in the shotgun, so he plays more of a conservative style offense.
I love that.
And he has a lot of experience playing against Your Blessed. So I think him and Your Blessed will pick up that rivalry that they've left off before. He has won a Super Bowl back in Soden Bowl. I think it was right around Madden 25 or right after that. He won a Super Bowl with the New York Jets, which is a pretty good accomplishment because that team hasn't been good
No.
traditionally in
Oh,
any of the Maddens. So
yeah.
he was Kansas City back. Let's see, I think he was KC before the SBSL kicked off, and he was having a good season, but he had a lot of things come up with work, and he had to take some time off. So he's back again. He was doing good with the Chiefs, so I'm interested to see how he does with the Jaguars. So, let's see here. Looking at SBN, we have another new show that launched after you, Kilo. We have The Art of War, produced by Crowd Pleaser 90 and Mr. Witness 36. Have you had a chance to catch their first episode, their premiere?
I have not. I kind of know the premise of it though. It's kind of similar to what I'm doing, just in a podcast form, if I understand right.
So yes and no. I think they break down. They broke from what I listened to. They broke down matchups and they broke down teams and who they thought, and they almost went team by team. And they broke down some of the pros and cons of each player and each team, and then they also took a look at some of the matchups and looked at some of the pros and cons from each game. So I guess it felt more like a round table, like one of those ESPN round tables where one guy, has a debate on one side and the other has one on the other. So it was pretty cool to listen to those two guys debate on what they felt was the pros and cons from each team in the league.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to tune into that because that's a pretty neat perspective that I don't think we have in the other shows.
No, we don't. It's something different. And I thought that name Art of War really kind of exemplified what they're doing there because they do get into what each team is good at and bad at and how to defeat the vaunted Broncos defense and how to take out an undefeated perfect Packers team. So far they've been successful in helping teams move the ball on the Broncos, but they haven't been able to put a dent in that Green Bay Packers team.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of games left.
Yeah, so SBSL is about halfway through the season, a little more than halfway through the season right now. We definitely have some of our playoff matchups in perspective here. I think if the playoffs were to start now in the NFC, we would have the Green Bay Packers, yourself, with the number one seed in a first round bye. And then we would have the Philadelphia Eagles with only one loss on their record, and they would also have a first round bye. Then we would have the Carolina Panthers. The Los Angeles Rams would be your other division winners, and I believe the wild cards would be the Cardinals. I'd have to look at the standings. It's either the Cardinals or the Rams there. I'm not sure which one's in first place as we speak, but the other
Oh, I'm
one.
showing them tied right now. I'm showing the Rams on top though, just because of I guess the NFC their division winning record.
Maybe, but I
So
do
it's close. Yeah.
I do believe the Cardinals took out the Rams in the head-to-head game that they played, so they technically should have the
Oh yeah, they
tiebreaker.
should be over them.
Yeah, so let's just say we have the Cardinals in first place, then we have the Rams as the wild card, and then I believe the Chicago Bears would probably be our next wild card. Um,
Yeah, it looks like either them or the Falcons, who are 6-3. Bears are 7-3. So either one of them would take the last one. It's pretty crazy
yeah,
with their kind of record.
yeah, and that Bears team, coached by your mom's, dude, they are on fire. I don't know if you've played him yet or if you're going to play him yet this season, but
Uh,
Julio Jones is an absolute nightmare to stop.
I think actually I played the Falcons game one, and it was a pretty close game. Julio Jones gave me a run for money. It was pretty hard to stop him. And then you
Yeah.
had Ridley on the other side. Ugh,
Yeah, he
never want to
actually
play him again.
he actually never threw an incomplete pass with Matt Ryan. He was a perfect 10 for 10 against me, 100% passing. He only threw for about 100 yards, but man, he made those 100 yards count.
And that kind of goes back to what I preach with like checkdowns and making the safe read, not the touchdown read. and that's when you get those, the whatever your quarterback's name is, Stidham, right? That's where you get your
Stidham,
kind
yeah.
of stats. Yeah, where you have the 75+% completion rate and not many incompletions and a lot of touchdowns and no interceptions. So Matt Ryan's kind of doing that.
Yeah, the interception will absolutely kill you. Especially, not only does it kill you in the NFL, turnovers decide games a lot of times, but especially in Madden. Some of the owners that we have, actually, most of the owners that we have in Soden Bowl are very, very good. And if you give them a break, they will make you pay on it, and you'll probably lose the football game, unless you're Monica. Unless you're M. Soden and the Chargers, who successfully throw 3 to 4 interceptions every game and somehow have a winning record, unless you're her, then you're probably going to lose a game.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so I guess in closing, guys, yeah, if you have some time, check out the Forced Fumble with Mr. Kylo Ren Hugs and Kisses. Especially if you want to up your gameplay, you want to get some professional tips, and just kind of break down plays, almost pre-play from the line of scrimmage, a la Peyton Manning, or maybe a Brian Urlacher or Mike Singletary on defense, identifying which gap you need to be in, and what coverage you should probably look at, and how to cover that defense, not give up the big play. If you guys want to learn about that, make sure you tune in to Kilo's show and get those tips, because I'll tell you, man, after watching his episode, his second episode, his first on SBN, it was pretty eye opening for myself, and I play pretty decent defense. So definitely will help your gameplay. Also, guys, make sure you check out Big Al's The Huddle. I believe he has episode 5 out right now. So if you wanna get into the statistics of the league and some of the draft prospects, and his analysis is spot on. He's our number one show right now, The Huddle featuring Big Al. And then you have us, SBN, every Thursday night. We try to get somebody in here to interview, and then go from there. And then we have, of course, the Forced Fumble that we just mentioned, and the Art of War with Crowd Pleaser and Mr. Witness. If you guys want to get a debate style podcast, that's what they do, and it's really cool. It's really good to listen to, especially while you're driving to work in the morning. That's it. I really appreciate you being on the show, Kilo. Anything you want to
Bad me.
say? Anything you want to say
Uh,
in closing?
The only thing I'd like to say is that I'm a pretty helpful guy. I'd like to have people improve their game. Like I was talking to Texans and I played a few games with him, and I do the same thing with Bucks to try and help them out with their game because they've been getting pretty frustrated. But other than my show, if you want to be featured on my show, if you want to play a few private matches with me, I'm always down to give people tips or pointers to improve themselves. So hit me up if you want to do that sometime.
All right, sounds good, my friend. In closing, thanks guys for watching. Special thanks to League Crawler, Madden Accords, Grown Folks Online Communities. Love what those guys do on the PlayStation side. Those guys are awesome. Nate is a really good guy. If you guys are PlayStation players and you're looking for a league to compete in, you guys need to check out the Grown Folks Online Community and the OMFL. Those guys do the best job on the PlayStation that I've ever seen. That community is fantastic. And then Daddy Leagues. Look, guys, if you like stats and you want to be able to jump on your smartphone or your computer, you want to bring up some stats, some attributes about your league. Daddy Leagues has it all. They will literally host a website for you that you can run your Madden League on and take it to the next level. So make sure you guys check out Daddy Leagues. And then, of course, our sponsor, Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust if you are in the Colorado Springs area and you are looking for a plumbing, heating, air conditioning, mechanical contractor. Make sure you guys check out Allied Plumbing and Heat. Those guys do a fantastic job. And then, of course, the SB Network, YouTube online gaming. Thank you for giving us this platform to talk about our league and interview guys such as Mr. Kilo here. And that's it, guys. We're out. Have a great night. We will talk to you this weekend. We have some awesome news being released this weekend, so make sure you stay tuned. We're out of here. Later.